Hey, this is JJ Tartaglia from Thunderor, and you are listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
So cool. You guys are up in Canada, right?
Yeah, in Toronto.
How freaking cold is it right now?
This winter has been brutal. Yeah, we got like a huge dumping of snow the other week, and then temperatures just dropped. It's cold and icy and snow everywhere.
Yeah, it's even snowy for you then, huh? Because you guys are used to that stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we are. It's like, I don't know. I feel like every time winter comes, it's like you kind of forget how bad winter is for like the first bit. And it's like, oh yeah, this sucks. But then you get used to it. So it's like, yeah. It's like the first day that it's like 0 degrees, it's like feels like the end of the world. But now it's like minus 20 and you go outside and it's like, oh yeah, it's not so bad.
Shit, minus 20?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we've been getting like minus 20 temperatures, and like Toronto's kind of warm for Canada too. Like, yeah, like a lot of like most of the rest of the country is like quite a bit worse.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like that every day, but yeah.
All right, cool. So we're not here to talk about the weather. I guess we're here to talk about Thunderor.
Cool.
I've listened to Fire It Up over and over again, and so I've got a bunch of questions for you. But the first one I want to know is, why are there so many trios coming from Canada?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's interesting. This is actually the first trio that I've been part of for a long time. But there's something to be said about like the power trio. I mean, it just feels powerful. Like, I don't know if it's that whole
feels Canadian.
Yeah, it does, man. I mean, yeah. You think of bands like Triumph and Exciter, right? Yeah, fuck Rush too. Isn't it mind blowing that Rush is a trio? Like, what? Like, yeah, that's crazy when you think about it, because like you would never think, like, listening to their music, right?
No.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, same as Triumph too, I guess, right? Like, yeah, I mean, it feels good. It's like, yeah, maybe it is a Canadian thing. I mean,
I don't know. That was my first question
for us. So.
My second thing was, I mean, after listening to Fire It Up, you mentioned Triumph, and that was one of the first things that was running around in the back of my head. There's a lot of similarities or not a lot of similarities, but definitely influence from a band like Triumph. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, me and Johnny are heavily influenced by the 80s. We love the music that came out in those years. So obviously it's coming through in the music that we're writing. Yeah, Triumph is amazing band. I mean, their songs are incredible. I think for this band, we really tried to put a lot of focus on the songwriting, and so maybe, yeah, I guess that influence is shining through. I mean, from my perspective too, because I'm singing and drumming at the same time. So like, yeah, huge influence from Gilmore,
right?
From Triumph, like, yeah, he did it like amazingly. It's crazy. I actually think it's pretty underrated. I feel like a lot of people kind of forget that he sang and drummed at the same time.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So, how do you put together a band in a pandemic? I mean, everybody's locked away. Everybody's staying away from each other. How is it that you put together a band?
Yeah, I mean, the idea to do it was set up before the pandemic hit. So kind of like we were going to do the band, and everything was kind of set. Our timeline was set, so I had some touring in March that I was doing in 2020, and then as soon as I got back, me and Johnny were going to get into the studio and like write the tunes, record the stuff. Right. And then coincidentally, I mean, that's when everything, hit. So for us, it didn't really matter so much. I feel like it kind of worked to our advantage because we had so many tours coming up with Skullfist, which is the other band that we do, and it kind all of a sudden we had all this downtime, so it was like really the perfect opportunity to just focus in on the Thunderer stuff. So if anything, I think it kind of fast forwarded the process, because I think it would have taken a lot longer had it just kind of been something on the back burner where it's like, okay, we have some time, let's do it a bit. And you know how that goes. It just ends up dragging on.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because your attention's not on it. So I think this way we were able to just put like a lot of focus on it, and it kind of gave us something to do. We were, I think a lot of musicians kind of didn't know what to do at that time.
Right.
It was like, well, like, what the hell do I do now?
Still don't know what to
canceled, right? So, yeah, it's true, man. It's brutal. So, I think it wasn't so bad for us. It was cool. We live really close by to each other, and we were always getting together anyway. It was like, whatever. I mean, like we were already in the jam space, just jamming anyway. So it's like, may as well work on the stuff. And it was a good distraction for us too, man. Like mentally, I think I really needed it. Like it just like got me away from what was happening in the world. I could shut myself in the space and just work on music. Like that's so important.
How much of what we've all gone through has seeped into your music? I mean, that's got to be writing and recording this and actually forming during this nonsense. It has to be an overwhelming theme of some sort, right? Or is it just you block it out totally?
I think I just blocked it out. Yeah. Because I mean, for me, I don't think there was any positive influence coming from that. I mean, other than, I know I used it as a motivational sense, but I don't think it made its way into the music by any means. I think I did use it to fuel myself, and kind of saying like, okay, well, I've got all this downtime, like, don't just sit around and mope about it. Like, do something productive. Like, do something so that you can come out of this and be like, oh, you know what? That was the freaking terrible time, but at least we got this done. So my mindset was kind of like along those lines, and even to the point where it's like I would even kind of pretend that the reason the pandemic was happening was like a sign that like you need to like do this band, and if you the longer you take to do it, the longer the pandemic's going to drag on. So like that kind of thinking is it's a fun way to do it, but it was also like a cool way for me to motivate myself, like during this crazy
and
time.
like a sign from Odin as well.
Totally, yeah. It's like, you must do this,
right?
Or the world does not move forward. Everyone is waiting for you to finish this album, So,
was it a cathartic experience?
You're gonna have to explain to me what that word means.
So was it something that helped
in
you
what
get?
Sense?
Yeah, no worries at all. Was it something that helped you get your inner demons out and express all this, your anger and fear and whatever? Did you find you were able to let it go, putting everything into this record?
No, I don't think, because the record's very positive, right? It's very lyrically, there's nothing that touches on like the pandemic or like any kind of like anger, really. It's I think the record is more about being driven in life and chasing your dreams, really just like longing for adventure and excitement. So I think that's pretty much the main themes of the record are all along that kind of stuff. So yeah, none of that like it was definitely a release, for me to get that out, as in like it always is when you create music, I guess. But I think it was more the emotions that I was trying to get across are more like, motivate yourself, don't give up, follow your heart, that kind of thing was what we were going for.
Are you guys all writing together, or is it more the efforts of one particular member?
So me and Johnny wrote the tunes together. Kind of started out with I had these drum songs that I wrote, so it was like drum parts and arrangements, and then we would get together and jam them out, and he would write riffs to the parts, and we would record them and then chop them up. And so yeah, we wrote the tunes instrumentally first, like together, and then after that, I just went in and did the vocals afterwards. I would compose like the vocal lines on the piano, and then do that, and then we decided to add keys, and then the bass was actually done last. Funny enough, because
Really?
Oscar, the bass player, was yeah, I know it was a weird way of doing it, but I feel like it worked for us. But yeah, we had because he didn't really have a part in writing the music,
Hmm.
so I kind of wanted everything to be done, and then before I presented it to him and be like, okay, here's the songs, like now feel free to do like what you want
Right.
to do on the bass on the record. So, yeah. Yeah.
So, do you do a lot of the producing yourself then, as well?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess. I mean, because we didn't have like a proper producer
Right.
role for the record. I guess it would have been myself, and Johnny as well. I mean, we had a vision of what we wanted the music to sound like, and we actually tracked everything ourselves too, because we did it out of our jam space,
Oh,
right?
nice.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, which was cool, because then we had the luxury of just the time of okay, no rush. We could just work on the stuff, and we
Right.
were learning as we were going too, because uh, it was our first time like really working with like a software like Pro Tools and stuff like that. Like before, we just had like these old 8 tracks
Right.
units that we would
Hmm.
use. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was cool. And then we took our time doing that, and but then we did get like a good guy to mix it, and then a proper mastering guy too, just
Right.
to like get it up to the level of something that is going to be released in today's industry.
So, what's next after the? Are you guys going to do the single model, like a different single every 6 weeks? Because the music business has sort of reinvented itself, right? Or are you
Mm.
planning on doing a full length disc or record or whatever, cassette tape, whatever it may be?
Yeah, so we are doing a full length. So right now we've got the 2 singles out, and then the full record is going to be out February 25th. But yeah, you're totally right. The model that the industry is kind of using is changing. With the It seems like more and more bands are doing more singles before the
Yeah.
release of the album. So it's like we've only done 2, but like I know some bands who've done some, they do like 5, and like so it's
Yeah.
like half the records are already out before. Yeah, so it's crazy, and I think maybe that's the direction it's going to go. Like I kind of have this conversation with Zach from Skullfist pretty often about like what should we do, like how should we be doing it. I think if anything, labels are kind of holding it back. They're hanging on to the old way of doing it.
Right.
Like they don't want to let go. They're like, oh no, okay, 2 singles come out and then the full length comes out, because that's how they make money, is off of full albums, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
And to be
yeah,
honest,
so I don't know. Mm,
that's the way I'm a little old school. I like maybe it's
mm,
the hard rock and metal scene that does it more, but I like sitting down.
mhm,
It's a process, listening to the record from start to finish, looking at the artwork, that
totally.
whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think it has to.
Oh yeah.
I think it has to advance, though. I mean, or reinvent itself, because you have kids like my kids. They have like 30-second, I don't know, attention spans. So if you don't
Yeah.
keep yourself,
Yeah.
if you're not on the road and you don't keep yourself, releasing singles, then I think everything gets lost in the shuffle.
Mm,
So I could see the other way, even though I'm not really a fan of it.
mm. Yeah, I know. It's like, what do you do? Where's the happy medium? Like, do you do 4 singles and then release it? Do you do a single for every song and then release the album at the end? Right.
But
And be
then
like,
there's
okay,
videos
everything's out.
involved,
Now you
and
can buy the,
Yeah, and then there's cost, right? Because there's videos or lyric videos. I mean, that's not cheap, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like so we're doing. We've got the 2 singles out, 2 videos, and then on release day, there's going to be a 3rd video that comes out as well. So, and that took a ton of work just to get that all lined up, you know. So,
are you doing your own videos as well?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's all pretty DIY. Like I hire guys that I know, you know, like the video guys that are like my homies, you know, we're like, okay, you know, they get paid a bit. They don't get paid a lot, you know. It's kind of like, okay, it's like, yeah. But yeah, no, it's cool. We're doing everything on a budget. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, being a musician is not an easy thing these days, so.
It's tough, man. Yeah, it's tough to make it work. I mean, I'm thankful that, you know, we can make it work. So let's see. Hopefully the record does well and we get some of those costs back.
Yeah. It's great seeing, you know, you be able to do it, but I'm also saddened by how many casualties of the epidemic I've seen. The bands like just dropping off and saying, I can't do it anymore.
Totally, man. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like maybe there's going to be like a whole slew of new bands that are going to emerge out of this, you know, because like who knows how many bands are in like their basements right now and have been working away for like the last 2 years, right? Like honing their shit, like just getting ready, you know, like probably a lot, right? And like these young bands, man, they're hungry, right? So I think, yeah, a lot of bands are going to go away, but I think if anything, it's only getting harder, right? To get out there and do it. It's only getting more competitive. So especially with like touring, getting all backed
I mean, because there's only so many venues,
shows and tours are, and venues shutting down and everything. So it's man, it's like it's funny because like I thought I had it bad, you know, like you know this whole time, and then like something like this happened. It's like oh no, like these young bands have it bad, like you know? So. But I think the good thing out of it is that it's going to be like only the bands that want it the most are going to be out there, and only the hungriest will make it through. And I think that's a good thing because it will kind of, I mean, only the cream will rise to the top, right? So I guess let's see.
I mean, I guess that's an interesting way to look at it. And you were right. I mean, there's less venues, but there's also, I think you could risk over flooding like a market if there's 2 or 3 different bands in town because everybody's got a tour. You only have so much money, right? Everybody's got to be out there. That's going to be a tough thing.
No, it's tough, man. Yeah, because like these tours keep getting postponed, and then everyone's trying to rebook them when things reopen. But it's like you've got 2 years backed up now. It's like, oh man, like it's tough, and a lot of. I've been hearing a lot of crew people in the industry have given up, you know, like sound guys, you know, roadies and stuff like that. They're just like, man, like you can't not work for 2 years, right? So they're like, so a lot of people have gone on and started new careers, right? So yeah, it's what a time of uncertainty and everything.
But I think going through it all, we're going to come out with a lot of great art that you sort of mentioned that's kind of not just music. I mean, it's going to be art. It's going to be the arts in general because everybody's been sequestered and creating and blocking out the shit, right?
No, totally. I think like hard times just seem to like brew like cool art, you know? I feel like if you look back at like history and shit, I mean, that's where like really awesome stuff comes out when things are bad, right? So
right. So it could be like a renaissance of the arts of sorts.
Yeah. yeah. Metal renaissance. Sick.
I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. You said the record comes out on, what's the date again?
February 25th.
February 25th. So you're about a month away from, actually, yeah, it is the 25th. You're about a month away from today. Pretty excited?
Yeah, totally. I mean, because it's been so much leading up to this.
Right.
It's kind of like when release day comes, like all the work has already been done, you know, because so you can kind of sit back and be like, oh yeah, finally. But we had to delay it a lot because of the vinyl We wanted our vinyl to be ready on time,
Right.
you know, for release date, and that's all backed up too, as you probably know, you know. So, yeah, we're stoked, man. It's like, finally, it's gonna happen.
So one last one. Are you nervous? Are you always nervous putting something out there, or you don't even think about it?
Well, because this is it's our first record, you know, for Thunderer, and it's the first record that I'm on as a singer.
Right.
So that's the biggest difference for me. And I think I guess I'm not really nervous, but I'm definitely curious to read reviews about the record. And like I've already read a couple of them, like of the first ones have already like been trickling out, and that's been really fun, you know, because I've read some really great one and then another one that wasn't so great, but I could like, you know, these people who review the records, like they really know their shit, right? So, you know, even like the people that didn't like the record so much, they were pointing out some cool things that like I would also agree with. It's like, oh, okay, I like, you know.
Okay, so you don't find it as an attack. So, you don't always find it as an attack. Then you find it more like a constructive criticism or something.
Totally, man. Yeah, especially being like a new singer. It's I want to like get better, and I want to know what people think about. I want to know what true metalheads think about the record, so I can be like, so come next time I can be like, yeah, you know what, maybe we need to do this differently, or I need to work on this, or whatever, you know.
Or so, you're killing it.
Yeah, or maybe it's great, and we're like, yeah, okay, let's just do the same formula again, right? So, yeah, I'm really curious.
Well, you've got fans here. My partner couldn't join us this morning, but we're both fans of Fire It Up. He's actually from Edmonton, maybe. I don't know where he's from. Somewhere.
Oh yeah, okay, sick.
It's all the same north of the
border. And where are you?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
So we actually.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
So I actually met Chris, my partner, on the 70,000 Tons of Metal, and we've been doing this for about a year and a half, 2 years now.
Dude, sick. Yeah. I've always wanted to do 70 tons. So yeah,
it's amazing. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to go ahead and give fans your socials, where they can find you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the regular stuff, right? Thunderer, Facebook and Instagram are the two big ones, right? We do the socials ourselves, so yeah, feel free to hit us up. I mean, and then YouTube, of course, we're all DIY. It's released on a DIY label. So yeah, you're getting straight to the source, right? Yeah, hit us up if you dig the record. Hope to see you on the road.
Yeah, and support music.
Hell yeah. I mean, anything you can do, especially in these times, like anything, it goes such a long way. Like if you, you know, not just for my band, but like any band that you are digging, you know, even if you just buy a track, you know, buy a song, buy a shirt, it's just, yeah, it goes such a long way.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you taking the time.
No problem, man.
Good luck with the record. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, bro.
Right.
Bye.
Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.